Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hi, I'm Beaumont and welcome to Secrets Exposed. This is a show that takes you up close and personal with experts on important business topics. And our topic for this interview is how to encourage more managers to step up. That coming up in just a moment. Our special guests for this interview are Anneli, Blundell and also Corrine, Armour. And our topic for this interview is how to encourage more managers to step up. And this is a really important topic that I'm really glad that we're covering because I talk to thousands of business owners every month. And one of their biggest frustrations is how do I get more of the people working in my business to step up, to take more responsibility and to help lighten the load from me, the business owner. So we've brought in two fantastic experts on this subject. They're the authors of a book which is called Developing Direct Reports, and we're going to talk about the principles of how to get more managers to be more productive in your business. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Dale.
All right, so I want to start talking about the book because Developing Direct Reports is not a book I've ever seen before on this subject. So what inspired you to actually write the book?
Our clients. And I've worked with, Anneli's worked with, and Belinda, our other co-author, we've all worked with people who are really struggling to get their managers, to use your language, to step up. And it's not always possible to bring in a leadership coach. Not every leadership challenge can be addressed with a training program. So we wanted a book that our clients could use when we weren't available to help them. And this is the outcome.
And Anneli, what about you? What inspired you to write this book?
Similar thing. I think when we were all first talking about the concepts of the book, we recognised that we had similar challenges with all of our coaching clients and our leadership clients. So we thought, why not get together and bring something to our clients that goes beyond the one-to-one interaction. We would love to be able to work with more individuals, but of course time doesn't allow for that. But this is a way that we can package up a little bit of all the things that we've learned over the last 10, 15 years in a way that can make it much more accessible to a wider audience, like some of the people that you're working with.
So tell me, why do you think so many leaders struggle when it comes to managing their people?
This is a really interesting question, and what we find is that, you think about it, so you're a small business owner, maybe you have the local accounting firm, let's say. So you've gone to uni, you've become a qualified accountant, you've opened up your own business, and now all of a sudden you're managing people. And you think, hang on, I never signed up to manage people, but I'm an accountant, I have a technical trade. And so what we found is that managers of small businesses were required to work a lot more with people than they first signed up to. So they're not necessarily as practiced, they don't necessarily have the ways of thinking, they're not spending time working with their people because they're just trying to get their work done.
And in your opinion, where do you think the challenge lies? Does it lie with the actual, the person who is within our company, it's really all about them, or is it really about us as the leader, and are we kind of getting in our way of our own people? So a different way of thinking of that question is who's got the most to gain from the people in their business stepping up? Yeah. And so our perspective around that is really it's about the business owner. Yes. So it's really a great opportunity for the business owners to create the kind of environment that will attract great people to their business. Because really, at the end of the day, we can't afford to be wasting, talent and not having people work to their best ability. So that's really what it's about. And you've identified three kind of reasons why you think that business owners need to help their leaders to step up, and obviously continue to watch the rest of this interview so they could learn all of the things that we're going to talk about. Why do you think it's so important for the business?
Well, the first thing is business owners can't do everything themselves. Now, I come from a small business background. I grew up on a dairy farm and an apple orchard. And I saw my dad working from way before I got up in the morning until way after I got home at night, every day right through my childhood. So Dad, this is for you. And so business owners can't do everything. And the more successful they are, the more the business expands, the more there is to do. So it's impossible. They need to get others to step up. The second reason that we need people to step up is that we want to bring the best people into our business. And so when you start to develop a reputation as being a small business where there's opportunity, then the best people will want to come and work with you. And the last thing's about productivity. You know, we're in a fairly competitive environment. Margins are small with small business. And so the more productive your people are, then the more effective your business is going to be, the more successful you're going to be. And you get productivity by having managers who can bring people with them.
Okay, and why do you think, so some people obviously fear that if the people working for me become too important, they might kind of take over or, God forbid, tell me what to do. And as business owners, we like being in charge.
We do.
And we like telling other people what to do, but we don't like people telling us what to do. So this is a big concern for business owners. And what's your response to that?
Can I just say get over it?
Okay, sure.
And let me elaborate. Let me elaborate just a little bit more on that. It's smart business practice to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, or people who know things that you don't know, people you can bounce ideas off, people who will challenge your thinking. And so we do need to have people around us who are smart and who can work with us. Our people are never going to take over the business unless we own it. Unless we make structural changes, we're always the boss. So let's be the best that we can be and have our people be the best they can be as well.
Another thing people say, again, these are all excuses, but what if they stuff something up? What if they make a mistake? I suppose it's just mistakes are obviously a part of the learning process, right?
Oh, mistakes are a part of the learning process. And I don't know about you, but I've never worked with a small business owner who hasn't made a mistake himself or herself. So yeah, it's part of learning. And when you've got a culture within your small business that when we make mistakes, we fess up and we do something about it and we learn from it, then you're going to be continually moving forward.
Now, in your book, you've identified 12 separate things that hold leaders back. You call them derailers. Where does that term come from, and how did you come up with this kind of list of 12?
So in terms of where the name came from, it's really because we're talking about leadership behaviours that get in the way. It's simple as that. So these are the things that get in your way and essentially take you off track from doing your best work. We got the 12, and let me tell you, it could have been 20, it could have been 400. It was hard work, wasn't it? Culling this list.
Yep.
But we thought, for sake of simplicity, let's do with the dirty dozen, right? So we started with 12. And that came from the work that we'd been doing over the years one-on-one with our clients, and also all the literature that we'd been reading as a result of doing the research for this book. So when you look at leadership theory, pulling all of that together, these were the things that seemed to have the biggest impact on people's ability to do well.
Okay, and we're going to cover them in other parts of this interview. We're going to go through all 12. So if you're there and you're taking notes and you want to know what they are, we're going to get to that in just a moment. But so you're saying that the derailers are things that take us off track, that stop us from achieving our goals as business owners and stop our people from achieving their goals as well in terms of becoming great staff.
Absolutely. If you think about a train, we're all happy when the train's going forward on its tracks. And then the train's derailed and it's not pretty. And that's what a derailer is. It's an archetypal behaviour that stops us being the full version of the leader that we can be. So if you think about micromanagement, I want to do the right thing. I want to make sure that my people are all doing the right thing and I'm going to get right into the detail. But in fact, that can just leave everybody feeling completely disempowered and unmotivated.
And what are some of the other principles? We'll focus on the derailers in just a moment. What's some of the other topics that you cover in the actual book?
So one of the underlying concepts that this book is built around is this notion of looking at the difference between strengths and derailers. So there's a lot of literature at the moment around having a strengths focus. So we know that when people get the opportunity to work to their strengths, to do the things that they're really good at, they're more motivated, they're more engaged, they're more inspired. Who doesn't want that in a business, right? So we want people to be able to work to their strengths. Having said that, there are some times when these types of behaviours tend to pull you off track. So it's like a high-performance car. You can have the fastest car on the lot, and you have your foot on the accelerator, but if you also have your foot on the brake at the same time, you're not getting the most out of that car. So we see these derailers as people having their foot on the behavioural brake. And it's our job through this book to help them take their foot off that brake so that they can get the most out of their strengths.
All right, we're going to go through the 12 in just a moment. As we go through them, what should people be thinking? Should they kind of be saying to themselves, am I guilty of this? Is this a yes or a no? Are people opting in for all 12 of them, or is it maybe just 3 or 4 that kind of really trip people up? What should they be thinking as we go through this list?
What they should be thinking is it's not a question of do they have a derailleur, it's a question of which one. And not perhaps the one that they might think from the inside, but how are they being perceived by other people?
Right.
So it's what might other people accuse you of? And yep, there'll be 1, maybe 2, and we advise people don't think about any more than that. Just focus on 1 or 2.
Focus on 1 or 2.
And the other aspect of this is to also bear in mind that we have taken creative license with the naming. So if there's a derailer in there that you get a little offended by, for example, the know-it-all, good, because we want to hit some buttons. We really want to talk about these patterns in the extreme and really ham them up so people get a very clear idea about what we're talking about. And we will unpack a little bit further about why it's important to understand that it's not really who they are. It's just how they're presenting in that moment.
Okay, and the final thing before we go into these 12, this is really for you, the leader, right? This is not like we're not pointing the finger at our people saying this is where you're making mistakes. This is really about how we can step up and become better leaders. And why is the focus on us as opposed to them?
Well, the focus is on both us and on the people who are leading. So if you're a small business, now think about my family business, for example, there's a guy who looks after the inside staff, there's a guy who looks after the outside staff. So the business owner is leading a couple of managers. So think about you and what's derailing you, but also think about the people that you're bringing with you on this journey in your small business. What are the things that derail them, and how can you help them to be the best they can be?
Okay, and we'll talk about then, once you've identified some challenges in your leaders or managers, what should you do about it, and how do you bring it to light without necessarily, maybe you give them the book and say, hey, read this, and maybe
Bingo.
Circle a few pages.
I have
Just
heard
leave
that
it on
you
the
can,
bench.
or you can even put it under your pillow at night, and it all filters through in your sleep.
There you go. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we get back, we're going to go into the first 6 of our derailers. So I want you to be listening out for ones that you need to work on as the owner of the business, and also the people that are in your business as managers. What are some of the things that they may be struggling with as well? And then we're going to talk later on about how we can coach those people through some of those challenges so that they can step up and become more productive in your business. We'll take a short break. Back in a moment. Welcome back. We're talking with Anneli and Corrine, and our subject for this interview is how to encourage more managers to step up. And we're now going to go through the 12 derailers, the things that take us off track as leaders of our business, and also if you have managers within your company as well, what are some of the things that could be tripping them up as well? So we're going to identify what they are, and then we're going to talk about what to do next. All right, so let's get into number 12. We'll get into number 1 first, and then we'll finish at number 12. Number 1 is the staller. So what is the staller?
So the staller is someone who just gets stuck in analysis paralysis. You want them to make a decision, you want them to move on, and yet what you find is that they seem to be constantly researching, constantly thinking. They might be missing deadlines. They're always looking for more information. Their intention is good, because one of the key concepts of this book is separating.
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.